So welcome back to Dragon Quest Builders. This is now a more sort of thorough look at all the challenges and other things in the game that after I've kind of unlocked them all. So let's go back in. So, interesting point is, as you can see, all the gold medals basically show that I've completed all the challenges for all the areas. This is the US version of the game that I'm playing. However, there is an interesting aspect to the fact that it's the US version. So we'll load the save game. So here are the challenges. I'll go over those in more detail shortly. So anyway, load the save game. Now, as you can see, it can read my Japanese game save and also the new save which I've created. So all the stuff I'm going to show you now is of everything that I've played from scratch from the beginning, using none of my Japanese save game data. So here we are back in Cantlin, or Medokido as it was called. And this is now kind of a different version of the same kind of base that I had that you would have originally saw back in the, when I showed it earlier in the year. A few other things. Obviously the barricade is now facing outwards to protect the base in the right direction. Basically one thing I learned this time around is that put everything in a room. So I'll take you over to that garden in a minute. A good example is the teleportarium. So you get given these teleports, and if you put them in the room, you get points, which means you can max your base up really, really quickly. So yeah, it's a no-brainer. You put everything in a room. And right, so the other thing that's kind of interesting is the Cantling Garden. Now this is actually one of the challenges that you have to fulfill, and you have to basically build a garden within the base. This is based on a garden from the original Dragon Quest. So it's kind of important. Two things that kind of need to be pointed out here. Yeah, obviously it's kind of underground. There's kind of a reason for that, which I'll explain in a second. But the thing is, there's a door at the top, and this door at the top indicates the room at the top. In order to make the Cantling Garden work, you actually have to have a door at the bottom, which is why I can actually walk out this little exit that I've created. If you don't have the door at the bottom, it doesn't register the room at the bottom as a room, which means it doesn't count. Yeah, you also need to use a shovel, and you need to dig up various plants like milk blossoms and coral lilies and all that kind of stuff, and then plant a tree. Now, in terms of getting the water, you can't create water in Dragon Quest Builders. You have to kind of like bring it in from somewhere else. So I've kind of hidden it all now because I've kind of cleaned it all up. But the water originally came from a little pond way over there. There we go. And I basically dug a hole all the way up and then created my own little sort of pond. And I then tried to cover it up, which I did with sort of mixed success. And yeah, so this is Cantlin. This is after completing the boss, so that's why everything's kind of blue and verdant. Anyway, so let's have a look at the challenges. No, it's the wrong one. Sorry, status. Here we go. Complete the chapter within 20 days. Build your base to level 5. Defeat the 3 dragons. Build the Cantling Garden and repair the Hammerhood's graveyard. Doing the chapter within 20 days is fair enough. You just don't sleep. You just have to bomb through it very quickly. Build your base level 5. Like I said, use everything in a room. Defeat the 3 dragons is fairly straightforward. You just have to find them. Build a Cantling Garden. It doesn't give you a blueprint. You just have to know what it is. I'll take you and show you what that is in a second. And repair the Hammerhood's graveyard, which means you just have to find a guy that will give you the recipe for, like a cemetery stone. Alright, so if I go to recipes, buildings, room recipes. There we go, Cantling Garden. So that's everything you need for the Cantling Garden. So it doesn't specify which flower or plant. I just did a mix. So, and then the plumberry tree, and then block of water, and a bench. So this is another thing that's a bit confusing about builders, is you have blueprints, which are the things that actually are given to you by the residents, and then you have the buildings, which are things you kind of discover by putting things in a room, and then that creates a room, basically. But anyway, so this is Cantlin. I have kind of done it to the max, as you can see. Anyway, let's go to Rimmildar next. So yeah, we're going to go to Rimmildar. Now, Rimmildar is a bit different. Oh yeah, that's another thing. You've noticed I've got a lot of game saves there. The reason for that is because I almost didn't make the first challenge, and I had to kind of go back to an earlier save in order to kind of make sure I did everything in the right order. Anyway, I'll go to sleep first and then I can kind of explain to you. This room here is actually the important thing that what kind of almost caught me out. This is the game's hospital, or sorry, the level's hospital, the infirmary, and you have to bring lots of people back to cure them, and they all have like different ailments, and they all require different things you need to give them, and you know those are quests in and of themselves. The thing you need to understand about the people when they're recovering is it takes a few days for them to recover. So if you give them something, it normally takes them at least a night to recover. Now, what I got on Stuck 1 was I overlooked one of the guys that I was meant to rescue until like the 27th day, and I almost didn't make it. So you have to be really cognizant of the fact that you need to make sure you get everybody and put them in there, and you feed them all the ingredients they also need. The other thing is this garden. Now these are hollyhocks. Is it hollyhocks? Let me just check. Yeah, I got a bit carried away if I'm right. Yeah, hollyhock. Sorry, the hollyhocks. Yeah. So you have to kill a dragon, and the dragon then in the chest and behind the dragon is one. Oh no, it's growing behind the dragon. There's a hollyhock growing behind, just one. And then you have to come back, and then you have to use that one hollyhock, and then you have to make 2 seeds, which is you use these special tables and use a hollyhock seed. And you create a hollyhock seed, but you can only create 2 at a time based on what you get. So you need to create a total of 5 hollyhocks to create a potion, which means it takes a few days, because each takes 2 days for a plant to fully grow normally. I think this takes about a day, because it's not a tree, takes 2 days, normal plants take about a day. And yeah, so I almost got caught out with that as well. So yeah, this is actually quite a challenging one, even if you didn't sleep. Also, important note, these ballistas are, baristas, whatever, they're meant to be at this height in order to stun the boss. So 4 blocks high, and this particular area, and if you look based on the map, it's like almost directly to the west of the main base point. As you notice on all my bases, I've built walls around them. This is one of the first things I do when I get a base, is to protect the residents, and it just keeps things simpler, because you get loads of monsters invading, and it's easy. Again, one thing you'll notice here is that all the rooms are kind of nested. Again, that's just to save space and just to kind of maximise the amount of points I can get with the amount of space that I have. Oh yeah, I'll explain about this amazing looking harp in a second. You actually get that in the 3rd level, but once you unlock it in the 3rd level, you basically can use it across all the maps. Anyway, so let's look at the, yeah, right, so complete the chapter in 30 days. Again, sleeping, be aware of the people that you're having to cure and how long it takes to grow plants, because you need those. Build your base level 5, very straightforward. Repair the ruined roof. You have to find a building, and there's a chest next to it with a whole bunch of roof parts, and you have to basically put the right bits in the right bits of the roof. Obtain the crown ghouls. You have to basically kill the king slime, and that there's a slime-shaped pond on, I think, the 2nd or 3rd island, and you have to fish in the island, and then eventually you'll pull the king slime out of it, and you have to fight him, and then complete all of Thalamus's puzzles. Now this is actually quite a useful thing. Now I haven't really talked about this yet, but I'll explain. In terms of equipment, you have these ring, or extra things you can use. And in this at the moment, I've got the ring of criticality and the strength ring. The ring of criticality basically means, as it says, increases the critical rate, which means you can do a lot more damage really quickly. And the strength ring just boosts your attack power. But the ring of criticality is really important, because I'm using a sword that is like does loads of damage really, really quickly, or just like sequentially. So having the ring of criticality means you just do ridiculous amounts of damage very, very quickly. And it's actually probably one of the best accessories you have. However, it is not the only accessory, and there are a whole bunch. So you've got the dragon scale, which is just like a defense thing, and then you get one that protects you from poison, one protects you from paralysis, another one from basically having your controls inverted, which you don't want, which is called confusion, and another one which basically stops you from taking any falling damage. However, if you complete all of Thalamus's puzzles, you get given the Catholican ring, which basically protects you against everything in terms of poison, paralysis, and confusion. So yeah, you can just wear that, and you just walk around. It's actually quite easy. The challenge, the puzzles are not difficult, so it's totally worth doing that, and I really recommend that you do. The ring, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's all good. So that's pretty much this area. So let's go back to the next area. So this area is a little, not quite, let's say, load from second. Here we go. And here we go. So yeah, no, this is Collingarden Home, which is kind of an interesting mix of magical technology and all this other kind of stuff. Anyway, I'll go to sleep quickly. So it's a nice big bright sunny day. And there's a reason I want to go to sleep, because I actually want to show you one of the things you unlock. Here we go. One of the things that's worth understanding about this area is that the abundance of medicine and food is very limited when you start, and you can get caught out if you're not too careful. There is kind of a way around that, and I'll explain that very, very, very quickly once I've kind of done stuff. Anyway, this is the, I think it's called the Lyre of Slime Immemorial, and when you use it, it changes all the music to the original 8-bit music. And once you unlock it on this level, you can use it across everything. So I've turned it over to 8-bit at the moment. Okay, over here is the main baths, which is kind of really important. And then there's this funky little lion-based fountain, which is I think called the Fierce Fountain. And you can only really get it from completing a little challenge, which is a ghost of a woman is taking a bath and a troll is peeping at her through a hole in a wall. You have to close the hole in the wall in order for her to give you that. The reason why you need that is because we're going to go to the challenges now, and I'll explain what's going on there. Right, so complete the chapter in 30 days. Again, just don't sleep, just bomb through it. Build your base level 5. Defeat all the boss trolls in Gigants. That's actually quite straightforward. They're really obvious and big. The one in the second island is worth killing because there are some chests behind them that you'll need, and I'll get onto that in a second. Complete the Spectacular Spar blueprint, which is actually really difficult, and I'll explain again. And discover the recipe for the Lyre of Slime Immemorial, which is what's played. Anyway, the Spectacular Spar blueprint is not easy, and I'll explain right now. Okay, right, so here's the Spar. Right. So here is the Spar, Spectacular Spar, and it's probably one of the most complicated blueprints in the entire game. Most of it's fairly straightforward. The only thing you've got to be really careful about is so things like medicinal herb, medicinal shrub, and ivy. Ivy you use to make rope, and you need a lot of rope. So you've got to be careful, especially with these two, is that you don't want to just convert all of them because you will need them. I almost got to the point, especially with the medicinal shrub, because there's such, a small supply of medicine on this level, that I ended up almost destroying all of the medicinal shrubs before I got to this point and realised, oh no, I need this. So you need to make sure you don't just destroy them all. You need a shovel to pick up the medicinal herb. If you use a sword, it will just produce the leaf. Same with the freezer. This is used to make books, so you just need a few of those. The other thing, the rest of it's fairly straightforward. The Heller's Hammer sign, you use that in the other area, and then the Fierce Fountain, as I explained, you need to get it from that little challenge where the lady's taking a bath. And the tea service is crockery, and you need to make a cake. So once you make your first cake, the tea service kind of is you learn. Anyway, so let's get rid of that. Right, now the other thing is when you kill the second troll, you get so I've got, again, you see the strength ring, but the Ruby of Protection. Now this is something that you really, really need because it just reduces all damage to like 50%, which is nothing. And on this level it makes such a huge difference. So you really need that, and you get that from, it's in the second island, so this is the first island, second island, and there's a big green troll in a sort of like, big castle fortress place, and you have to kind of kill that. Behind that, that's basically where the actual thing is. Now, the reason I'm taking you through here is because if you want food, where are we? Yeah, here we go. These little things over here. So the cactus you can't make into food quite yet, but these small little plants, if you kill them or if you destroy them, there we go. Prickly peach. That is your food, and that's a very, very, very helpful. It saves you a lot of time. Also, if you sort of bash through here straight away, once you've got your mallet, which doesn't take long to get, and you boost. Alright, just have more food. Whatever. Just get rid of this guy. Now, one of the things I just kind of, because I know what the order of the quests kind of come in because I've already played through it so much. I ended up just boosting over here, and getting all the copper and the charcoal that I need, which made a huge difference because I could start building armor and swords, and yeah, it just, I just broke not broke, but I just kind of skipped a whole bunch of order of the quests, and I did all the quests at once, which saved me a huge amount of time. This is now called the Bashmobile, and I love this car. You also get it in the last area as well, which is a bit of a spoiler, but it's good fun and it's very useful because the world's quite big. So yeah, anyway, so this is Colin Galvin Holm, and it's awesome, and yeah, the actual challenges aren't too difficult, except the Spar blueprint. Right, so let's go to the last area, which is Tantagil, which is originally called Radatomu. So, load from the same again. This is actually, the actual challenges aren't too difficult on this one, and I'll kind of explain why shortly. Right, so here is the castle, all done up again. Again, I put everything in rooms. Another thing I learned that was kind of interesting is if you put the furnace with the mason table, that basically allows you to get cool stuff, and that builds your room score, which is very helpful. Also, putting the holy hostel inside your base means that you don't get hungry in your base, which means you never lose stamina, which is kind of cool. Anyway, so let's have a look at the challenges. Complete the chapter within 30 days. I actually did that within 20. I'll kind of explain in a second. Build to base level 4. Defeat the Dragon Lord without wearing the legendary armor. That's actually quite easy, which is to do with the last thing. Show a verdant vision to a certain someone and find the Sword of Ruin. Defeat the Dragon Lord without wearing legendary armor and find the Sword of Ruin are somewhat connected, and I'll explain in a second. Anyway, so the verdant vision, just to explain what the hell that is. This is the verdant vision. You have to get 3 clouded memories from slimes that are atop mountains on each of the islands. You have to give them a flower, which is a milk blossom, daffodilly, and coral lily. Milk blossoms are pretty much everywhere. Daffodillies, you get those from when you kill orange slimes, and when you do that, you get given a daffodilly bud, like that, and you plant it in the ground, and then you use a shovel to dig it up. The coral lily, which I'll show you, I have to boost out of here quickly, it's over in this area of the map. So, there we go. So it's basically the southwest corner of the map, and you have to kill Drakes. And there are only a few of them actually. Ooh, that was a bit unfortunate. Only a few of them actually. Here we go. There's one. Now it's somewhat rare. Yeah, nope. Let's try these 2 chappies. Let's see if they're one of them. Nope. Here we go. Nope. Yeah, it is kind of rare, but once you kill one of these guys, there we go. And then you plant that in the ground. So let's boost back to my base. I'm not going to waste a Chimera feather for this because it's just not worth it. There we go. Oh, that's another thing. If you equip the Bashmobile from atop the high place and boost off the top, you take no falling damage, which is kind of fun. I kind of got carried away with my base defences. Anyway, and then you plant the coral lily bud in the ground, and then you just dig it up. The only thing you need to know about this is on the final island with the Dragon Lord, which you have to use the rainbow drop to get to, the king slime's on top of the mountain, tucked away, and you basically show him the 3 clouded memories. He gives you the recipe for the verdant vision. So you can't just do it in one go. You have to go and see him once, then come back, build the verdant vision. And the thing with the verdant vision is you need to have those plants again and the clouded memories. Once you have that, you can build the verdant vision, give it to the king slime, and then he'll give you some cookies, which isn't exactly the best reward for the amount of work it involves, the Gunga bread, but it's one of the challenges, so it's kind of cool. Anyway, so I'll just sleep quickly. The other thing that's really important, and it's actually really worth getting, is basically the cursed armor, and that's the Sword of Ruin, I think Thanatos shield, and the Whaler's mail. And I'll show you those in a second. There's a slight catch with those, but before I do that, I'm going to do the awesome Lyre of Slime Memorial, because life's not worth living without 8-bit music. One important thing, you get loads of things. So this Yggdrasil essence if you die, it brings you back to life with full health. So I've got 4 of those, which means you can die 4 times. The Sheen Salts actually destroy any curses that are put upon you. Now this is kind of a problem if you use this with the cursed armor, because it destroys the armor. And then the Holy Water, which you basically use to kind of... all the green stuff outside was basically what I did to use the Holy Water to create. Anyway, so let's equip the way... I'll equip everything first. You don't need to do this, it's just doing it for convenience. Yeah, so I'm now cursed. And what that means is I can't... Okay, this is the best armor probably in the game, but you can't remove it once you've equipped it. It has to kind of either use the Sheen Salts to just break the curse, which destroys all the armor, or wait for it to wear out. Now the reason why you want this, also I've got the Ring of Criticality again. You get that when it's in the same place where you get the cursed armor. And again, the Ruby Protection, which I cannot emphasize enough how important this is. You get that literally just before you face the boss. You kill a dragon, and then there are 2 chests, and in one of the chests is this. So you get it literally at the end of the game. It's really important and really useful, so I've equipped it. But the really good thing about this is a really cool armor. Yeah, look at that. It looks... Anyway, you do ridiculous amounts of damage. So, if you're not wearing the legendary armor... Okay, that's another thing I should explain. To defeat the Dragon Lord without wearing the legendary armor that they're talking about is... So, the Hero's Shield and the Auroral Armor. Now, the Sword of Kings is not included in that, which is interesting. Also, the Sword of Kings is interesting because it never wears out, and it's quite a powerful sword as well. So that's an important thing to realise. The other reason why you almost never want to wear the Auroral Armour or Hero Shield is both of them use an element in their construction called Zenithium. And this altar uses it, the magic table in here uses it, but you get this one for free so you don't need to build it. But when you want to build the new, the Hero's Armour, you need Zenithium. And there are only 4 caves in the entire level that have it, and they don't have very much. I think like a total of 20 pieces, if that. And once you've done that, you can then build it. The problem is once that's gone, you can never build it again. So, like I said, I built a whole bunch of them, as you can see. I also built another Sword of Kings just for the hell of it. And I got some other, items. So I've got loads of the Auroral Armour. I'm only wearing it because I've just completed the game, so it doesn't really matter now. And Strength Ring, Gold Ring, which gives you an extra 10 HP, which is kind of helpful at the beginning, but it's not really a very useful piece of kit after that. And then Steel Sabatons, which helps you from falling damage, but not much. Anyway, so I'm going to go and take the Cursed Armour for a spin. Where are we going to go? Let's go this way. Actually, what will do? Just to kind of give you an idea, yeah. So attack 55, defense 48. It's very, very powerful. So let's go to the next area. There we go. If I'm right, there's normally a troll round here. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, it's just brutal. It's just the most ridiculously powerful sword there is. And basically, the first part of the Dragon Lord boss fight, it just makes it so much more manageable because you can just destroy everything so quickly. The only thing you have to be careful with the Dragon Lord boss fight is he curses you, so you can't use items, which means that if you want to get your health back, you can't. So it's worth having the Yggdrasil Essence equipped, because then that automatically kicks in. Where is a big troll? There we go. Big troll. You just take no damage, it's ridiculous. Oh, that's another thing. The bony steak is worth doing because you get a damage bonus for a short amount of time. So during the boss fight, I used that as well. So I just completely destroyed, like within 2 hits almost. It was ridiculous. But yeah, let's just boost around a bit because it's fun. Yeah, the Bashmobile does a lot of damage on impact, which is pretty cool. Now, oh, that's a good point. Have I actually tried? Yeah, let's have a look in here. On the Vita version, because I've now completed this game 3 times, because I probably need help. Once on the PS4 in Japanese. Oh, there is blue! Ah, okay, awesome, more Zenithium. So there's 5 caves that have it. So this is that's what it looks like. You can only really be destroyed. There's quite a lot actually. That's quite good. You can only be destroyed with the wrecking balls, which are like little explosives. Be careful with the wrecking balls because they can kill you very, very quickly because they do 100 damage. So a little bit of Zenithium. Is there any more? There might be some more. Yeah, there is. Wow. So okay, on the Vita version, the cave layout is slightly different. And so yeah, I've completed the game now on the PS4 in Japanese, the Vita in Japanese, and now with all the challenges and everything on this version, which is loads of Zenithium here. Wow. And on this one, which is the US PS4 version. So, and there's even more. Wow, that's really. So how much? That means there's quite a bit. There's a little bit more than I was expecting, but it's basically finite. It's if you don't, it's they're only in the caves on this level. So also, if you need gold, those are in the caves on the island where your castle is. And the reason why this level moves a lot quicker is because once you get to the second island, which is very, very quick, you have like 1 quest, and then you get to the second island. So how many bits of Zenithium did I get? 13. Okay, that's quite a lot then. So it is worth it. Oh, good. Now I have to find my way out. Cool. That was not what I was expecting. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I can't actually. Anyway, okay. Mr. Chappie, I'm going to deal with you. Go on. But yeah, so no, so the layouts are slightly different between the different versions. There's another big troll. Let's go take you out. So you need to kill the trolls at one point because you need to get a special key, and the special key can only be get from like, a metal that the trolls have hoarded. I think it's called shocking copper or something. So yeah. Anyway, so let's boost back to our base. Right, to show you, so if I want to just get rid of this armour, because I can't really do anything else except equip it, be very careful, but here, the sheen salts, so if I use this, here we go, yeah, all of it's gone. And then if I want to equip my old sword back, there you go. So now I've got my full armour back. One final thing. So the normal spin, oh wait a sec, I need to equip it. The normal spin attack for your weapons is this. So if you hold it down, it's really useful for mining, but for the Sword of Kings, it gets a really nice effect, which is that. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Anyway, so yeah, this is Dragon Quest Builders. There are a few things I haven't done, like got all of the Seeds of Life, maximum life, but it's not part of the challenges. The reason why you do the challenges is you get lots of cool extra parts, or recipes and extra things for Terra Incognita, which is the free play mode. So the challenges are worth doing. The most difficult one on all of them is basically the timed one, like complete it within 30 days, complete it within 20 days, that kind of thing. That's normally very tricky. So you really have to kind of keep attention. But just basically don't sleep and just bomb through it and try and do as many quests at the same time by just collecting lots of resources. That's my secret tip. But yeah, so this is Dragon Quest Builders US version with all the challenges completed on all 4 levels. So yeah, absolutely brilliant game. You should absolutely play it. I cannot tell you how much fun I've had with this. And yeah, get Dragon Quest Builders. It's awesome.